There's a moment in your life, one night, that changes everything, and you won't see it coming. It won't come with a warning. No signs in the sky, no voice in your head telling you this is it. But when it happens, everything you thought you knew about yourself, about the world, about the people around you, will collapse, and you'll realize most people never survive it, because they're not built to. Philosophers like Nietzsche called it the dark hour of the soul. Carl Jung spoke of a confrontation with the shadow. And Quentin Tarantino? He built entire stories around it. Moments where characters lost in chaos must choose between life and death, sanity and madness, redemption and destruction. But here's what no one tells you. You don't need a lifetime to transform yourself. You don't need years of therapy or a book of ancient wisdom. You only need one night. One night where you look at yourself in the mirror and realize you've been lying to yourself, to others, to the world. And in that moment, the illusion shatters. You see who you are, and it's not what you hoped for. It's darker, more broken, more dangerous, but it's real. And you have two choices: run from it or embrace it. Because if you have the courage to face what lives in the darkest corners of your soul, the things you've denied, suppressed, and buried, you'll unlock something most people spend a lifetime chasing: power, clarity, freedom. And it all starts with one night. Most people avoid this night their entire lives. They numb themselves with distractions: social media, alcohol, empty relationships, work they hate, false identities built on borrowed opinions. They tell themselves they're happy. They convince themselves they're in control. But deep down something rots. A sickness of the soul. A silent erosion of who they were meant to become. And the terrifying truth is, the longer you run from yourself, the louder the shadow becomes. The darker it grows, until one night it breaks through. Carl Jung warned us about this. He said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." In other words, you will never find peace by pretending to be good, by ignoring your rage, your envy, your fear, your suppressed desires for control, for power, for revenge. The night I'm talking about, it's not romantic. It's not poetic. It's brutal. It strips you bare. It shows you the ugliest parts of yourself and dares you to deny them. And this is where most people break. They see their anger and call it a weakness. They see their jealousy and pretend it doesn't exist. They feel their hunger for meaning in a meaningless world, and they drown it in shallow pleasures. But a rare few, they lean in, they stare back at the abyss, and they whisper, "I see." This is the night when the lies no longer work, when the mask falls off, and you realize that the version of you you've been carrying around isn't yours. It's a construct built by fear, by social expectations, by childhood trauma, by what your parents wanted, by what your society demanded. But none of it was ever you. And in this moment, you understand something very few people ever do. Freedom isn't given, it's taken. And it's taken in the darkest hour, when no one's watching, when it's just you and the weight of your own soul. This is the price of awakening. And it only takes one night. This night isn't merciful. It won't ask for your permission. It won't care about your comfort. It comes for everyone. The only difference is whether you answer the call or drown in denial. And when it arrives, you'll face a choice. But not the kind you've made before. Not left or right. Not yes or no. This choice is between the person you've pretended to be and the one you truly are. One leads to madness, the other to clarity. But both will cost you. If you choose to run, you might find temporary peace. You'll scroll through meaningless feeds. Surround yourself with noise. Cling to shallow relationships. Lie to yourself just enough to numb the ache. But it won't last, because deep inside you'll know, you'll feel it, the quiet, relentless pressure of a life unlived. And every time you laugh at a joke you don't find funny, every time you shrink to fit a space too small for you, every time you betray your own nature to avoid being judged, the shadow grows, and eventually it will devour you. But if you choose to face it, to sit alone in that night, and ask yourself the questions most people avoid. Who am I really? What do I truly want? When no one's watching, what part of me have I been too afraid to acknowledge? You'll unlock a side of yourself that feels almost inhuman, not because it's monstrous, but because it's free. The version of you that no longer cares about the shallow approval of the herd. The one that doesn't need permission to exist. The one that will burn your old life to the ground if it means finally being whole. And make no mistake, something will have to die. An old belief, a dead relationship, a false identity. The night demands a sacrifice, and those brave enough to offer it walk out of the darkness carrying something few ever possess, a ruthless clarity, a vision of life no longer dictated by fear, and you'll never see the world the same way again. Here's the part no one tells you. Once you've faced that night, once you've tasted the raw, unfiltered truth about yourself, there's no going back. The people around you, they won't understand. They'll sense something in you has changed, that you no longer play by their rules. They'll call you cold, detached, reckless, arrogant. But the truth is, you've simply stopped lying. You'll watch the world differently. Where others see virtue, you'll see control. Where others see kindness, you'll spot manipulation. Where others chase status, you'll recognize desperation. The masks people wear will become unbearable to you. And worse, you'll remember that you used to wear them too. The night does not give you peace. It gives you power. But power comes with a curse. You'll no longer find comfort in shallow conversations. You'll crave solitude, not because you hate people, but because you can finally hear yourself think. You'll stop chasing approval, and the silence it leaves behind will feel like death at first. But slowly it transforms into something clean, sharp, uncompromising. And you'll realize most of what you believed was yours was never yours. Your ambitions, your fears, your relationships, your morals, handed to you by a broken world. And you, like a loyal servant, carry them without question. But now you question everything. And this makes you dangerous, because a person who has nothing left to hide, who has faced the darkest part of themselves and survived, is no longer easy to control. The systems that rely on your compliance crack. The relationships built on your submission falter. You become untouchable, not because you are perfect, but because you are whole. You have met the shadow, and instead of fleeing, you made it your ally. And now when you walk into a room, you carry something few ever will, a presence forged in one night, a darkness that no one can take from you. Now listen carefully. Most people will never live this night. They'll tiptoe around their existence, numb themselves with fleeting distractions, and build entire lives on foundations of denial. But you feel it, don't you? That quiet pull, that cold pressure in your chest, the suspicion that the life you're living isn't really yours, that there's something buried beneath the noise, a darker truth about who you are and what you're capable of if you just stop running. And maybe tonight is your night. Maybe this is your sign, not the comforting kind you were hoping for, not some gentle message from the universe, but a cold, brutal reminder. You are wasting time, and life, real, raw, unforgiving life, doesn't wait for the weak to feel ready. You don't need a year, a plan, a permission slip from the world. You only need one night to stop lying to yourself, one night to face the voice you've buried for years, one night to burn the old version of you alive. And when you do, you'll realize something terrifying. The world is not as strong as it pretends to be. Most of what you fear is paper thin, and the only real prison was inside your head. If you felt that tonight, if you've seen your shadow in this video, then don't waste this moment. Subscribe to this channel, but not for me, not for content, for yourself, because this space, this dark mirror we hold up to your soul, is the only place you'll hear the truths no one else will say. And the next time the world tells you to shrink, to be nice, to fit in, you'll remember this. You'll remember you only need one night, and it might be tonight.